Welcome to the History Lord. You join me here and I'm at home. James is sat behind the camera and we're going to do a short series of LGBTQ plus videos, just looking back at the history of gay London. So the first one in the series is today, and that is looking back at Margaret Clapp. Welcome to London. Margaret Clapp was better known as Mother Clapp, and she ran a coffee house in Field Lane in Holborn. Well, Field Lane doesn't exist anymore, but it was just off Saffron Hill. Now, the coffee house she ran was also known as a molly house, and a molly house was where homosexual men could go, meet, gather and indulge their sexual needs in a time when being gay was actually illegal. It dates back to the Sodomy Act of 1533 under the reign of Henry VIII, and that wasn't repealed until 1967. Her molly house was nothing out of the ordinary, and lots of homosexual men had kept their rendezvous secret from the 1700s onwards. Now, her house was one of the most favourites, and by 1726 she was actually very well established with a huge clientele. But in February of 1726, the actual molly house was raided by constables and parish constables, and around 40 of its occupants were arrested, including Margaret Clapp herself. The reason for the raid? We believe it was an informant, a one-time employee or one-time client who became disgruntled and informed on the molly house itself. It was actually also because it was under surveillance from a society called the Society for the Reformation of Manners, who were rather big at the time. The Old Bailey records at the time, and I'll read this here, list Margaret's trial and those accused of sodomy. Now, Margaret was found guilty and sentenced to stand in the pillory at Smithfield, pay a fine of 20 marks and suffer 2 years imprisonment. Another of those put on trial was Gabriel Lawrence, and at his trial, one of the witnesses was Samuel Stevens, and he gave evidence of his undercover investigation. And he actually said, Mrs. Clapp's house was notorious for being a molly house. In order to detect some that frequented it, I've been there several times and seen 20 or 30 of them together, making love, as they'd call it, in a very indecent manner. Well, that was the attitude in 1726. By the end of the trial, in August of 1726, 3 men had been hanged at Tyburn. 2 men and Mother Clapp had been pilloried, fined and imprisoned. 1 man had died in prison. 1 had been acquitted. 1 had been reprieved, and several were forced to go into hiding. When I said that she was put in the pillory was not a fun thing that you see at a charity event today, where people throwing sponges at you. Pillory was a nasty thing. It would attract crowds and crowds of people, and they would throw everything at you. Mud, excrement, the corpses of cats and dogs, rotting vegetables, rotting meat, entrails of an offal. It was disgusting. And very often or not, the people in the pillory actually suffered for a long time from their injuries. It has been said that Mother Clapp, a few weeks later, died from her injuries that she sustained in the pillory. So that's the unfortunate story of Mother Clapp's molly house in Holborn in the 1720s. Homosexuality was still a criminal offence in this country until 1967, but thankfully we live in now more enlightened times. But there are still countries around the world where it is illegal to love someone of your own sex. Thank you very much for watching today. We do hope you enjoy these videos, and we hope you enjoy this little mini-series that we're doing as well. If you want to see what we do outside of these videos, please go to historylord.co.uk, see about a walking tour of London, or have a look down below in the description for James's YouTube channel, which is called Last Line Films. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.